Olá amiguitos, mais uma vez aqui Maceface Gaming a continuar Shadow of the Templars, Broken Sword 1. No episódio anterior descobrimos com a Nico que provavelmente o pai dela está envolvido também com aquele grupo secreto que os seus membros têm sido assassinados por um assassino sempre disfarçado, e a Nico também numa das fotografias que revelou fez uma ampliação e descobriu uma pessoa um pouco estranha. Vamos ver se conseguimos olhar. Conseguimos. Que tem umas calças com o mesmo tecido do fato que o concierge do hotel encontrou, e tem uma cicatriz em forma de lua crescente. Por isso temos já uma cara com a qual podemos ligar o assassino. Mas primeiro viemos aqui ao La Risée du Mundo, que foi onde o assassino comprou ou alugou o fato de palhaço, provavelmente.
It was an antique phonograph, the kind you have to wind by hand.
Para isso. Vamos lá ver se o YouTube não...
Excuse me.
Ai... Agora vamos ficar com a música a tocar. Ok, já parou.
Didn't you ever dress up when you were a child?
Not that I remember.
Incredible! You'll be telling me next that you never shared your elder sister's lingerie.
What?
I don't have a sister, and I think I'd look pretty silly in a brassiere. I just need some information.
Of course. How can I help you?
Ok, então vamos começar aqui pela
Have you heard
esquerda.
of a man named Plantile?
I do not recall anyone of that name.
I'm looking for a man who hired a clown costume from you.
Oui, monsieur. I do not see how I can help.
Don't you keep a record of costumes that you've rented out?
Of course, monsieur, but...
Well, then
Confidencial.
I'd like to check your records. Give me the names of everyone who's rented a clown suit.
Impossible. There are too many.
Se calhar não existem assim tantos com cicatrizes
Do you
na cara.
recognize this man?
Oui, monsieur. I sold him some grease paint.
Do you want this red nose back?
Not after it's been worn, thank you.
Does this dirty tissue mean anything to you?
Let me smell that.
Yeah.
Bestheimer's number 7 white pancake.
Theatrical grease paint, right?
Oui, monsieur. La crème de la crème of Thespian accoutrement.
Have you sold any of it recently?
Yes, 2 cans.
E foi este homem.
Do you recognize this man?
Ah oui, he was here this morning. That is the man to whom I sold the grease paint. I remember the scar on his face. He chose 2 costumes. Bozo the clown and Seamus the pixie.
A pixie?
Very smart. Green silk with a taffeta lining. He gave me his name as Monsieur Khan.
Ok, também já temos um nome, se não for falso. Para além do fato de palhaço, ele alegou também um fato de pixie, fada. Sim, fada. Portanto, ele está-se a preparar para matar novamente.
What does this tool mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur.
Ok.
Thanks for your help, buddy.
Acho que aqui não temos mais
My
nada.
pleasure, monsieur. Allow me to shake you by the hand.
Huh? Well, okay. What are you trying to do, kill me?
You did not find it amusing?
I never saw the funny side of electroshock therapy.
Eh bien, it is yours to keep. A gift?
Do I need a license?
No, but I give you a word of warning, monsieur.
What?
Remember to switch it off before you visit the toilet.
Dá jeito. Ok, aqui não há muito mais para fazer. Vamos tentar fazer outra vez um telefonema.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Ok, não era aqui que eu queria vir. Mas tudo bem.
The guy at the novelty shop gave me this.
What is it?
A hand buzzer. You put it in your hand and give people electric shocks.
Why?
It's a gag. A practical joke.
If you ever use it on me, I'll break your arm.
Okay. I get the picture.
Estás avisado, George.
I have to go.
Okay.
Eu queria usar... não era aqui que eu queria vir. Era... aqui na La Risée de Mundo não temos mais nada para fazer. Parece que o senhor das corridas nunca mais volta do almoço. Ou então já acabou o turno. Quer ligar outra vez ao Todrick?
Hello? Who is this? Mr. Todrick? Oh, it's you again. What now?
The man I'm looking for is called Khan. He bought a suit from you, remember?
Mr. Khan. Yes, I remember him. Yes, I delivered the suit to his hotel. The Hotel Ubu. I don't remember the room number. It was upstairs. The second room on the right-hand side of the corridor.
Thanks, Todrick. That's all I wanted to know. Now I've got you, Mr. Clown.
Ok, não só descobrimos o nome, como também descobrimos o hotel onde ele está. Hotel Ubu.
The man looked like an amiable Bigfoot.
Oops.
The guy looked just like a weasel. Excuse me.
Yeah?
Do you happen to know a guy named Khan?
That ain't nobody I know.
You ever meet a guy called Plantow?
No, I ain't.
You missed your chance. If you're quick, you'll catch him at the coroner's. Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
No, I ain't. Don't tell me I missed him. Oh, that's too bad. I love the clowns, don't you?
I've seen daytime television that was funnier.
I love it when the little guys get hurt.
That figures.
Custard pies, hose pipe down the pants, then smack! A plank in the kisser.
Do you recognize the guy in this photograph?
Is this a trick question?
No. I simply asked if you recognized him.
Okay then. No, I don't.
Aqui não há, com estes dois não há muito para
Not if you
fazer.
see me first.
Eles estão a guardar a entrada do hotel. Isto tem a ver com um puzzle um pouquinho mais à frente. Portanto eu não vou perder tempo a falar com eles. Isto são duas personagens recorrentes na saga Broken Sword. Aparecem em vários títulos. Um deles é um cientista, que não lembro do nome, e outra é uma aristocrata inglesa, Lady Piermont. Acho que é Piermont o nome dela.
I want some information.
Who are you? The police?
I'm conducting a private investigation.
Ah, I know only too well what you mean. That is one of the drawbacks of the catering business. When people book into an hotel, they leave their morals at home, no?
Do you have a guest by the name of Khan?
No, monsieur. Perhaps you would care to check the register.
The man who calls himself Khan has a scar on his right cheek.
Vraiment? I tell you, I do not know a man named Khan.
Maybe not, but I noticed a change in his expression when I mentioned the scar. Do you know a man named Plantow?
No, monsieur.
Ele sabe mais sobre o Khan do que está a
I'm looking
dizer.
for a man who dresses like a clown.
This is a highly respectable hotel, monsieur. There are no clowns here.
Excepto
You
tu.
say so. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Yes, monsieur. That man is one of our guests.
What name?
I cannot tell you that.
Primeiro não conhecia ninguém que tinha uma cicatriz na cara. Agora sim já a conhece. Já me dá tanta vontade de apertar a mão.
I'd rather not, monsieur. I'm still sore from the shock administered by one of the guests. he was secretly concealing an electrical device in the palm of his hand. Practical jokes are so puerile, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Eu acho que ele estava a referir a nós de uma forma irónica. Porque qual é a probabilidade
It was the register of guests staying at the hotel.
de outra pessoa ter aparecido aqui também com...
There was no one registered under the name of Khan. If the killer was staying here, he'd used a different pseudonym.
Qual seria a probabilidade de outro hóspede ter uma mão elétrica como nós?
Excuse me, didn't I see your picture in the news? You're that Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state.
Yes, that is me, in person.
I don't want to worry you, but have you had any threats on your life? You know, mysterious phone calls, letters made up of headlines cut from the newspaper.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know a guy called Plantow?
I don't know anybody in Paris.
Oh, well, this guy's dead anyhow.
Why do you ask me about dead men? I have seen enough of death to last me a lifetime.
I'm, sure you have. Have you seen a clown?
I beg your pardon?
The clown. A guy in funny pants. Have you seen him?
My pants are from England. Marks and Spencer.
Marks
They
and
are a
Spencer.
pleasure and the comfort to wear, with much support.
I'm real glad to hear that. You know, it's good to know you Nobel Prize winners are human too.
In my country, the people make do with string and egg cartoons.
For pants?
For everything. Oppression is the mother of ingenuity.
Do you recognize this man? He calls himself Khan.
Yes, I know this man. Why do you carry his photograph?
I'm a private detective. What's your interest in Khan?
He is an enemy of my people.
You know he's a killer.
Of course, amongst other things.
Would you help me investigate Khan?
That is not possible. My instructions are to observe. I cannot jeopardize my position as an honored guest of this country's government.
Ok, justo.
What does this clown's nose suggest to you?
In my country, we have no use for clowns.
I'm glad to hear it.
They were dealt with most severely in the last cultural cleansing.
What about the mimes? Did you get them too?
All gone. Our streets are mime-free.
Sounds like heaven. Does this goo-smeared tissue mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
May I shake you by the hand?
I do not shake the hands of imperialist dogs.
Now that's a real bad attitude problem you've got there. Have you any idea what this tool might be used for?
I cannot guess.
Would it mean anything if I told you it was for lifting drain covers?
Such technology fills me with wonder.
Thanks for your help.
Goodbye.
Vamos falar aqui com a Lady Piermont.
Hi there, ma'am.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a man.
You disappoint me, my dear. For one foolish moment I thought... But never mind. Aren't you going to tell me your name?
George Stobbart, ma'am.
How sweet! I once had a stable boy called George. I am Lady Piermont. The common reaction is to kneel and stutter, but it's not obligatory.
A real lady? I mean, you're an honest-to-God aristocrat?
Oh, I don't know about that. Few of my ancestors are honest, not even to God. I can trace my family back to the Normans, but don't let that intimidate you, George. Beneath that impressive pedigree, I'm just flesh and blood. The blood may be blue, but the flesh is the plump beef of old England, so to speak. You appear distracted, George. Is there any way I can help you?
Did you know there's a gangster out front?
What makes you think he's a gangster?
The Italian suit and the bulge in his pocket?
I know plenty of men with Italian suits and bulges in their pockets. That doesn't necessarily make them gangsters.
Are you here in Paris on vacation?
No, darling, I'm on holiday. I needed to get away after Algy's funeral.
I didn't realize you were mourning the loss of a loved one.
I'm not. He was my husband.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband's death.
You wouldn't be if you knew him, my dear. It gave me the opportunity to take a well-deserved holiday. Daphne suggested a change of scenery. Paris, she said. A wild romance is just what you need to take your mind off the inquest. Well, the closest I came to romance was being wooed by a drunken Breton chef. I must say I was disappointed with his coq au vin. Not at all what I was expecting. I was thinking of cutting my holiday short, packing my bags and heading back to Hempstead. That was until last night.
O que aconteceu ontem à
What
noite?
happened to you last night?
I was stricken, Mr. Stobbart. Cupid's arrow has cleft my bosom.
They couldn't really miss.
It was just as I'd always imagined it should be. The intimacy of candlelight, romantic music tinkling across the room, and then a stranger's glance. Those brooding eyes, that suave manner, those tight trousers. He was the man I'd been waiting for all my life.
I'm glad he finally turned up after all these years.
Ah, but it wasn't to be. He was merely toying with my affections. And if I ever catch up with him, he's dead.
Who was the
Pragmática.
guy who led you on?
His name is Merlin.
Merlin.
I'm looking for a murderer.
Good heavens! You're a private detective.
That's correct, ma'am.
What's the term you Americans use? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I believe what you're thinking of is...
Precisely.
Ai, genius.
Have you come across a man who calls himself Khan?
I am familiar with only one person named Khan.
Genghis Khan, the legendary Mongol barbarian chieftain?
No, darling. Kevin.
Kevin Khan? I never heard of him.
I'd be most surprised if you had, darling. He's a pharmacist in Hempstead. Organises fundraising for the Rotarians. Lovely man.
Does he have a scar on his cheek?
I really wouldn't know, sweetie.
Vamos perguntar
Do
se
you
ela
recognize
conhece
the
pela
man in this
fotografia.
photograph?
My God, it's him. That's Merlin.
She
Oh.
represented everything I loved about the English. The lady was totally deranged. Merlin? You mean King Arthur's wizard?
Good heavens, no. Monsieur Merlin is a fellow guest. He's the man I've been telling you about. That's the man who spurned me.
The man you know as Merlin is a fake.
What do you mean, sweetie?
He's a murderer. He also uses the name Khan.
I am shocked, Mr. Stobbart. Shaken. I took him to be a gentleman, a man of honor. Do you know, I'd rather like to assist you in stitching him up.
Boa.
When did you last see Merlin?
It was no more than an hour ago. He came downstairs and spoke to that clerk chappie. Something passed hands. I couldn't see what exactly.
A briefcase?
No, smaller than that. A bundle of papers, perhaps. The clerk put it in the hotel safe and Merlin went out.
Are you sure you saw Merlin putting documents in the safe?
Yes, darling, positive.
I wonder what they were.
Obviously something of great importance.
Yeah. I'd sure like to get my hands on whatever it is. I'll bet they had something to do with Plantow's briefcase. Has Merlin returned to the hotel?
No, he hasn't. Are you going to search his room?
If I could get in there, I would.
E vamos conseguir. Ele está fora do hotel, por isso aquela chave que está ali é a chave do Khan, do Merlin, do que seja. Deixa-me ver.
It was the register of guests. There was no one registered, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin. Hanging from a brass hook was a key and a plastic tag. Hanging from...
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
Excusez-moi.
What? You are trying to steal that key?
Não, não estamos.
No way.
No way. Ok, agora pedimos aqui à Lady Piermont para nos ajudar.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do?
Did I show you this photo?
Yeah,
Sim.
Do you know what this is?
at a guess, I'd say it was a clown's nose.
That's right. It was worn as a disguise by a vicious...
Ah,
Oops.
Mr. Merlin.
That's him. Does this tissue...
I'm no string.
Ok. Eu estou aqui a passar porque isto aqui não é nada importante. Estou um bocado perdido.
Hello again. This is a...
That is just
Ok.
Thanks for your...
goodbye.
Vou falar outra vez aqui com o rapaz da
What
recepção.
now, monsieur?
About the key hanging on the hook over there.
Oui, monsieur.
Which room is it for?
Number 21.
Is that room taken?
No. The guests checked out this morning.
I'd like to check into room 21.
That is not possible.
How come? You said it was vacant.
It is reserved for another guest.
Certo?
Rats.
No, monsieur. Dutch.
I'd like to retrieve something from your safe.
Ah, oui, monsieur. May I see some form of identification?
Like what?
A driving license, perhaps?
I don't drive.
Your passport?
I don't have it with me. I could show you my operation scar.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I must have some form of unique ID.
You won't find a more unique ID than my scar.
I'm sorry. I must insist on a more traditional identification.
Rats. I believe Khan, the man with the scar, is also known as Merlin, the man who has taken room 22.
What are you? What do you want?
Access to his room.
Do you have a license, monsieur?
Huh?
A private investigator's license?
Well, not exactly, but I can explain everything.
I am sorry, but without credentials, I cannot help.
O telemóvel começou a tocar. Peço desculpa por isso.
I insist you give me the key to Merlin's room.
Isto aqui não vai dar em nada.
Do that, monsieur.
This guy Merlin is a menace.
So you say, monsieur.
He's not only a danger to society, but to your guests as well. He has toyed with the affections of Lady Piermont.
Ciel! Are there no depths to which he will not sink?
Precisely. He's already killed once, twice, maybe as many as 3 times. With your help, I just might be able to stop him.
But what if he finds out I have helped you? No, I cannot do it.
Ok. Não podes, mas vais ser obrigado, porque vamos pedir aqui à Lady Piermont. Agora sim, faltava de falar com
Hi,
o
ma'am.
rapaz da recepção.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
Would you distract the clerk while I borrow a key?
Are you asking me to aid you in a criminal act, darling?
Oh no, it's the key to an empty room.
And why, may I ask, do you wish to gain access to an empty room? Do you plan to squat?
No, ma'am.
Scouts honor?
I was never in the Boy Scouts, ma'am.
Oh, you should have been. What were your parents thinking of? It's a fine way for a boy to get licked into shape. Now tell me, why do you want to get into that room?
It's next to the room the killer is using.
Ah, so you plan to eavesdrop on Merlin?
I was hoping there might be a connecting door.
Well, how can I refuse? I shouldn't think my feminine charms would be much use in this case, but a good dose of English arrogance might do the trick. I say, you there, flunky?
Flunky.
Oui, madame.
Listen carefully. You do understand English, don't you?
But of course, madame.
Good. I wish to deposit some jewellery for safekeeping.
I understand.
Are you quite certain?
Oh, Bien sûr, madame.
E aqui é a nossa oportunidade de apanharmos a chave para o quarto 22.
My dear.
Pronto, e está feito. Através do quarto 21 vamos poder chegar até o quarto 22, que é o quarto onde está o Can, o Merlin, o palhaço, o Mimo, todas essas identidades ao mesmo tempo. Mas isso vai ficar para o próximo episódio, amiguitos. Espero que tenham gostado e espero contar com vocês para a próxima. Tchau, tchau.